Kyle Cope, and this is my 2015 Mitsubishi Evo GSR. The plan was just to let it be for me, my wife, and my daughter to just enjoy my car that I bought brand new and just leave it alone. Bought this car brand new in 2015, early 2015. So I've had it for 10, going on 11 years now. And over the years, started out as a dream car, daily driver, and just slowly, immediately leaving the dealership, ordered a exhaust and intake and all sorts of stuff, got the car home and decided to modify it immediately. And over the years, you know, modifying it, meeting new people, getting it tuned, blowing it up, rebuilding it, trying to have other people help me build it myself. And, you know, over the course of the last 10 years, this is what the car turned into. And just kind of a progression of building cars and my career and life. Yeah, so I think like most people, when they first get these, you know, it's the basics, bolt-ons, intake, turbo back exhaust, you know, injectors, that kind of stuff. Did all that, you know, started with the Cobb access port and, you know, made 330 horsepower on pump gas, and that was fun for a little bit. Ended up putting like a bolt-on stock frame turbo on the car, made around 500 horsepower on pump gas and melted down the piston on the original motor. Car had like 3,000 miles on it at the time, and melted the piston out of it. You know, still living at my parents' at the time, so budget build, did a rod and piston with a local shop and put it all back together. Ended up, while that was happening, taking the stock frame turbo off and put a ETS turbo kit with a Precision 5858 turbo, put that on the car with a built bottom end, stock cylinder head, and that lasted 300 miles. And it rod knocked and spun a bearing and all the problems you could have building a car, it had. And so decided at that point, rip that motor out, start from scratch. Okay, so we pulled out that motor that was built by the other local shop and started from scratch and built a whole nother engine. I had a buddy of mine who was a little bit more familiar with engine building. He helped me out. We put that motor together, whole new block, crank, everything. Put that motor together, and again, you know, 300, 500 miles, it's rod knocked, it's not working. So go back to the drawing board, tried to rebuild that block. We were consistently trying to build it as if it was like a 4G63, like an older Evo. You know, this is 10 years ago, no one really knew that much about them, on how to build them and make them reliable. So basically going off the old knowledge of what worked in the older Mitsubishis, was trying to build this and it just wasn't working. So I ended up going through a total of like 3 or 4 motors, just trying to get this thing to make 600 horsepower and stay together. And it's at that time where I decided if I'm paying people or having people help me, you know, it doesn't look good for everyone involved. So I was just gonna handle the project on my own at that point. So that's when I started looking at how I wanted to build the car differently to get it to live. So going back through, looking at the owner's manual or the tech book from Mitsubishi and going through the service manual and how did Mitsubishi build it, and try to follow that a little bit and make the difference of, you know, trying to make horsepower but also trying to keep it as reliable as it could be, like an OEM car, and kind of found a rhythm of what worked. You know, one motor lasted a little bit longer, and then it lasted a little bit longer than that, and kind of got it to where it became pretty reliable. And then that's when we started putting bigger turbos on it and breaking it again. Then it was probably about the 6th or 7th motor that was in the car. We got it working, you know, 100%. You know, 5,000, 6,000 miles on the car, still had great oil pressure. And that's when I put a 3584 RS turbo from Garrett on it, and ended up making over 800 horsepower with it. And that was like a kind of a big deal at the time, especially here locally. No one else was getting their cars to do that and still stay together. And so that was kind of a pivotal moment where I was like, oh, maybe I'm onto something. And then we ended up blowing that up, having other issues with the car outside of the engine that blew the motor up, fuel system problems. Yeah, trying to ball on a budget at the time. I'm, just working with, the little bit of money I have from my day job and, trying to buy a house and growing up and doing all that at the same time. So, didn't have a lot of money for the other stuff for the car. So that's when we got it to where, it's 800 horsepower, had a fuel system issue, blew that motor up, tried to rebuild it on a budget, and it didn't work. Trying to reuse the crankshaft, when you get them hot and you ruin them, or you bend something or you break something and you try to reuse whatever you can out of the existing engine that broke, it just doesn't work. So go back to the drawing board. Now we're 9, 10 motors into this car, and at this time I'm starting to build cars for other people, 600 horsepower cars, stuff like that, and they're working and they're doing good. And I build this again, and then I decide to get this crazy idea of, let's compound turbo the car. So I let the car sit for a couple of years while I, at this point, had my daughter, decided I wanted to open my own shop, started my own shop, was working through all that, ran into issues with the original shop with the lease and the township and things like that. So the car sat for 3 years without me doing anything with it. I bought a bunch of parts to do it, did all the, the research and got everything I needed to do it. And then life happened, opening the shop happened. So then it kind of got backburnered. And then when we got the new shop up and going, about 6-8 months later, everything kind of settled out. Everything was going the way I wanted it to. So it was like, all right, now it's time. Let's build this car back again and let's make it something crazy. So we did like a high compression, 2.2 stroker engine, compound turbos, put the car together, had a bunch of issues right off the rip, just bugs to work out, things to figure out. Again, going back to the trying not to spend a ridiculous fortune on the car, so we're running into fuel system problems and things like that. So finally got the car ironed out on the compound setup. Ended up making pretty good power, pretty close to 1,000 horsepower at the tire. Crank horsepower, it's 1,000, 1,100, something like that. And it was working pretty good. One night, decided to do something stupid, was out driving around, and I was on my way back home. Car was low on fuel, and I decided to do a pull anyway, and ended up breaking it again, melting piston and all that happy horse shit. So ended up tearing it all down, and that's when I bought my Evo 8 drag car that I put a 4B11 in. So a lot of the good parts from this ended up being used to put that car together. So we stole the big turbo off of the compound setup off this. We stole the cylinder head from this car, put it together and put that car together. So then later, or I guess earlier in 2025, I decided I'm just gonna put this together as my street car. It's not gonna be a shop car. It's not gonna be something that you guys are seeing, which you are now, but the plan was just to put it together, make 600 horsepower, and let it be for me, my wife, and my daughter to just enjoy my car that I bought brand new and just leave it alone. So fast forward, end up building another high compression 2.2 stroker, and I was gonna put a small 54 millimeter turbo on the car, and I had one laying around. I pulled it out of the box. I start trying to take it apart, and the turbo's seized. It's not in good shape. It needs a rebuild, and I'm like, well, shoot, I got the motor, everything's in the car. I wanna get this thing up and going. Well, I also just so happen to have a 68 millimeter turbo laying on the shelf. So I put the 68 millimeter turbo on the car and immediately went out and just turned it up. And within 3 pulls, we're making 50 pounds of boost and just running it to the ragged edge. And the car's making, based off the compressor map and fuel flow, it's anywhere between 950 and 1,100 horsepower. Just 50 pounds of boost, all the timing, on ignite red, just wild, crazy daily driver street car that we just kind of put together by happenstance. So basically the setup on the car now, it's a 2.2 stroker, 10-to-1 compression, all built in-house. It's got just a pocket port cylinder head with a set of Kelford C's. So that's the basic overview of the engine. It's nothing crazy. It's on a custom turbo kit that I built It's a Garrett G35 1050 that we're overspinning a little bit. Sorry, Garrett. It's a full 3.5-inch downpipe, 4-inch titanium exhaust all the way out the back. It's running a vertical flow 2,000 horsepower core. The intercooler core is a CSF. And I made the custom end tanks, intercooler piping, all that stuff. It's running a Speed Factory tucked radiator for a Honda that I did my own custom coolant swirl pot for, custom catch can. Basically everything under the hood is all custom. So driveline wise, it's nothing crazy. It's a stock transmission that I pulled apart and just refreshed and put a 418 final drive in it with some diff pins, put it back together. It's still the stock original transfer case that the car came with, never been opened, never had a problem with it, just fluid changes and it's good. It's on stock axles all the way around, stock drive shaft with just the carrier support bushings, stock rear diff, never broke, never been out of the car, just on aftermarket diff bushings, and that's it. So like the driveline is pretty much stock with like a minor touch here in the transmission, and that's it, and it just rocks and it goes. And if you maintain them properly, they're not a problem, which a lot of people say they're weak. This car makes 1,000 horsepower, I launch it, I beat the snot out of it, I flat foot shift it, I do all the stuff you're not supposed to, and I don't break driveline parts because it's supported properly with the proper bushings and you maintain it properly. This thing's had, you know, it's got 31 or 32,000 miles on the car now, and the fluid in the transfer case has been changed 20 times. But at the power level, you have to. So the car's got 2,600 cc injectors. It's on a radium surge tank in the factory fuel tank. One of the big cool things about this car is it's on a full standalone. It's on a Link ECU. Has all the pressure safeties, all the cool stuff like rolling anti-lag. The launch control is 10 times better. Like you get rid of all the little bug stuff that you have with trying to use a factory ECU, and you just put an ECU in that's designed to run a car like this. So it makes it super easy to tune. Really nice to put the extra safeties and things like that in there. So if you're getting it too hot, or you're running too much boost, or you have a problem, the ECU shuts it down and kind of tells you what's going on. So that's like the basic overview of what runs the engine. Your standard basic Evo 10 wheel and tire package, RPF 1s 18 by 10.5, and I got Toyo RRs on here. So when these wear out, it's gonna go to the Toyo Rs. I got gyro discs up front, just standard OEM rotors in the back. Couldn't even tell you what brake pads are in it, but they're good enough for the street, for driving around, for what I use the car for. It doesn't matter, but just your basic Evo 10 wheel, tire, bolt-on brakes, nothing crazy. So interior-wise, car's pretty much stock. I have triple gauge pillar, which at this point with the ECU is almost kind of useless. It's just there, and I haven't replaced it yet with a OEM pillar. Stock seats, stock interior, stock sound system. I got a CAE shifter in here just for the shifter feel. It's phenomenal. Every Evo should have an upgraded shifter, like a proper CAE or an IRP, one of those two. Every manual Evo 10 needs one. But other than that, it's pretty much all stock. It's got all the creature comforts, radio, interior, all that. Right now AC is not working, but it is an AC car. It's just haven't gotten that far in the build to actually worry about hooking that all up.